What's up? It's Where the Keys At. My name is Eli. Listen, today we've got a very special, different kind of episode. We're trying to switch it up a bit. And basically we want to review things that are happening on the internet. So we have watched Drink Champs, the latest episode with Pharrell Williams. You need to go and check that out. There's a link in the description. And today I've got two special guests to talk about it with me. So over on the other side, we have got...
VLC.
Say, can't say mate.
So Clipper and VLC. So I thought, like, VLC's a DJ, so you know your music inside out.
Yeah.
And Pharrell's obviously a person. From back in the day, V was the first person who showed me a Pharrell vinyl. I remember that. Grinding.
Oh, damn.
Grinding. It was grinding.
And before that, though, isn't it? And, like, there was all them Noriega stuff back in the day as well.
Yeah, Super Thug. Yeah, Super Thug. Yeah, Super Thug, didn't you?
Yeah.
The blue. Yeah, I remember that.
I didn't know anyone that could mix that introduction properly. Because it was the helicopter. The helicopter was actually in time
Jackson here.
with the beat.
Oh, was it?
So I used to mix it from the beginning. Everyone's like, "What's this?"
Sick.
And obviously, Clipper, this is a conversation me and Curtis have been. I've always thought of Curtis as like Pharrell. he's such a Pharrell guy that he is Pharrell. He used to wear the vapes. He used to sing the harmonies like Pharrell.
But I was like a twisted Pharrell. I was like, if Kanye West was a Pharrell, I'd have been more him because I was a bit mad. So I just was like that mad version of Pharrell, if anything.
Yeah. Do you watch Drink Champs a lot?
I've watched a few episodes, definitely.
I watched a few episodes. I watch a lot of clips, like little pieces of it. But yeah.
I think Drink Champs has got better. I was saying this to Kurt yesterday. I think it's got better over the years that's been out. They're a lot more mature now.
Yeah, it's got a proper format, we're saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
He still throws out mad questions here and there, but yeah, it's definitely a good show. But
what's good about it is he's a rapper.
Yeah.
So he has people on who he's got stories with.
Exactly.
What annoys me is he asks them questions, but then he cut them off because he's thinking of his side too much all the time.
Yeah.
And the later the interview goes, the worse it gets normally. But
once the drinks start hitting in, you don't know
that's the problem, isn't it?
But then he loses track of what he's doing as well because he's drinking with them. It'd be different if he's giving the drinks to them, getting them drunk, so they start pouring out more and more, and he stays on form. But he's drinking with them, and then he cuts them off even more quicker in the conversation.
Yeah.
I watched a good one the other day actually. Going off track. Faith Evans one. Did you see the Faith Evans one?
I didn't see that one.
That's an old one, right?
I don't know.
Because Caesar's with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. They must have put it back up.
I never saw that one.
I watched that all day through the other day.
I've been watching them since the start, man. Like the first one, and that was the new concept. I don't think any other rappers had done that at the time. So
that goes even back to what Pharrell was saying to Noriega about how he stayed relevant for this whole time. Like these contemporaries, where are they now?
He's not even a real good rapper.
No, he wasn't.
I want to get on to that. Nori is... I love Nori.
Yeah, but he was never the best rapper.
I know V loves Nori.
Yeah.
He knows how to pick a beat.
Yeah.
He knows how... He's got good records.
100%.
He's funny. But I think he's underrated, though. Listen to him talk and listen to all the records he's got. And
I feel like, he's underrated if you know his story and you know that he's lived it.
We argue about top tens all the time. And I would put Nori in my top rappers. Even though I know he's not the best rapper.
Okay.
I don't think he's the best lyricist, but I'd still put him in top.
I would listen to like some Nori albums all the way through.
Yeah, I would.
If you put it in that context, yeah, definitely.
But anyway, so we're going to go back to the pod. It starts off, and they start talking, of course, at the beginning with Pharrell. Pharrell's got his mask on, and he doesn't really want to open up at the start, as he doesn't have any drink yet. And they start talking about how he got going, and he talks about. There's loads of revelations to me in this. He talks about Teddy Riley.
Yeah, I knew about that though.
But you didn't know about, like, he didn't produce the beat, because I always thought he produced the beat.
I knew he did.
Teddy Riley.
The Rum Shaker.
So, Rum Shaker, the rumour was always that Pharrell produced Rum Shaker. I know he's not in the credits, but he ghost produced it.
I knew he didn't produce that song.
And so they asked him the question, because obviously no one really knows, but Curtis knew, of course.
I knew. I read you said I read the credits, because I remember him.
Yeah, but the point was the credits, it was ghost production, so he wouldn't be.
But even if you listen to the beat itself, it don't sound Pharrell at all.
He's really, if you watch it, because me and V, you've seen parts of it, right?
Yeah, I've only seen a few clips.
And me and CC, we've seen the whole thing, but he's really, I think he's overly humble. I think he's too humble, Pharrell. I know he's trying to come across as, maybe that's his nature, but I think he's a bit too humble in the whole thing.
I don't think he is, Do you know why I think that? Because it's like he's one half of something who created that. you can't say I'm taking full credit, because everyone loves to say Pharrell's name, because he's like the guy, when you go in the studio, he's the type of guy I think who will sell the thing to you. He sells the product, he has the idea, but he doesn't create everything. He's not the guy who finishes it off. He's not the guy who puts all the touches in.
I was shocked when he said, I know he hadn't done a Michael Jackson tune, but when Michael Jackson's on the phone or something, because Pharrell sent him all the beats that were basically Justin Timberlake's album, every tune, apart from one, he said, right?
I heard that story before.
And then he said... And then he said he phoned the manager, and the manager said, "We don't want to hear that. We don't want that beat. We don't want none of them beats.
We want some super funk."
We want super funk.
Michael Jackson wanted super funk. He wanted them hard tunes.
Yeah, I laughed. Imagine Michael Jackson and that.
I think back to that though. I think back to that time, and it was the Unbreakable album or Invincible album, wasn't it? Invincible.
No, it was when he was working with Rodney Jerkins, because he said it was just before he worked with Rodney on that. Well, he didn't say Rodney's name on that album.
Because I remember the Usher tune, You Don't Have to Call.
Yeah.
And they produced that for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And they said he saw Michael Jackson once, and Michael's like, he showed him the beat, and Michael said, I can't get it. And the way they produced it, apparently, just didn't. There's something about it. He said it don't make sense.
They've always had the little funky beats here and there. Because I remember I used to mix certain tunes, and certain tunes were like Neptunes and Neptunes and Timbaland.
Yeah,
Jadakiss had one, didn't he? What was the Jadakiss record that Neptunes produced? And you're like, how does this drop? Yeah, knock yourself out.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Because it doesn't start on the one, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, they both used to do that. Neptunes and Timbaland.
They used to be part of the same group, didn't they? SBI, Surrounded by Idiots. So it's when I found out they was from the same area, and I was like, "What? That's mind blowing right there." But it made sense as well. But it's just weird, like how one come up underneath Devante Swing, who obviously was a ghost produced for him, and he was like treating them like they were slaves, putting them in the camp. And then he got Teddy Riley, who was like a mentor in the sense of he was a workaholic, and he was like, "Do it like me." And Pharrell and Chad couldn't work like Teddy Riley, because they were saying he would wake up and do sessions from all night through.
So that's what he says in the pod.
He couldn't do it.
That's when he first found out about working through the night.
Yeah.
But then he goes on to talk about Prince.
Yeah.
And I think Prince stories are just hilarious. Prince is
I saw some of that one, yeah.
Prince don't care, does he?
Prince don't care.
Prince knows who he is. He's not worried about being nice. Just like, I don't like it.
He's a genius.
Do you know the tune he's talking about? The remix they done.
Yeah, the greatest story.
The greatest romance.
Greatest romance.
Exactly. I was thinking. Yeah.
That was a tune, bro. Yeah. And they put a lot of detail into that tune, you know. Proper. Do you remember that tune?
Kind of. I recognise it, but
if you heard it, it was like
I was disappointed
at the time
with Pharrell, because he didn't remember the tune. He couldn't remember his own tune on the pod. He was going, it's called The Greatest Love or The Greatest Romance.
Yeah, he could. You listened to that song on Pharrell's first album. I think it was called Baby or something, and it sounded like an old like 1990s Prince power movement.
Album,
I liked some of it. I listened to it recently the other day. I actually thought it was alright. I think at the time I didn't like it because I didn't have Chad, and I was so mad. I was like, you can tell it's not Chad. It's so raw, and it just wasn't that.
If I was Nori, this is where Nori messed up. If I was Nori, that would be the avenue I was going down. So what's going on? What happened with Chad? I know there's been little bits, but you don't really know.
Exactly.
How come you're not producing together no more? What's your sound like different compared to when you're with Chad? What do you do differently?
Weren't there rumours of them doing something again?
They are back together now. They're back together now. So this year, I think they actually officially got back together. That hit different tunes, Neptunes. Yeah. They done another tune with Monica with the baby. They're like the two tunes they've made this year, which are kind of. But even we listen to them, innit? Yeah. And we just thinking like, you know, when someone's grown apart and they come back and that energy's not what it was. But I feel like giving them time, they will rekindle, because the tunes are getting better. It's not like they're getting worse. You can actually see after time they'll probably get better, and they're trying to rediscover their sound as well.
But they're rediscovering the sound. They're chasing the sounders now a little bit, and they were just.
That's Pharrell.
As they talk about it in the pod. Pharrell says like he fell in love with certain instruments, like with the clav on his tunes, and that was his style.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can bring that back. But then they talk about the versus battles, and that disappointed me again.
He would never do it.
What?
He said he'd never do a versus battle.
I think he would win though.
Who would you put Pharrell against? Because let's take out the people that have done battles. So you can't have Babyface, you can't have Timbaland, you can't have Swiss, you can't have who else has been like Little John, all them people.
I'll say the closest people to battle with the Neptunes is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
They've been on there already.
Have they?
Yeah.
What about Nile Rodgers then? He's another guy could say
He's not really the same categories. Disco.
But no, but then he done Madonna. He done David Bowie. He done Duran Duran. He done so many different groups, just like the Neptunes. Like done so many spin-offs and recreated sounds. On top of that, he done like the soundtrack to Coming to America. That was Nile Rodgers. So like he has a large category or catalogue. Sorry,
but the eras don't cross enough for me.
No, but that's the only thing.
If the audience had to vote on it, then they wouldn't really be like the same audience.
That's very true. In contemporary stages, I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's...
Jermaine Dupri? I think Jermaine Dupri, if he was to go toe-to-toe with Pharrell, I think he'd do it right. He's regardless of... Yeah, he done his tunes with Brian Cox, but that's like saying Pharrell and the Neptunes.
Well, now they're called the Neptunes. He's
got some tracks. Jermaine Dupri's got so many hits. I was listening to Mariah Carey the other day.
I was a JD fan for a while.
And do you remember that tune... You will always be a part of me.
Yeah, I remember that tune.
Yeah, gonna always be my baby. And I was like, listening to it, and I said, that sounds like Jermaine Dupri. That must be Jermaine Dupri. Look to the credits, Jermaine Dupri done that. Yeah. So he's been making big hits since before that.
True. He's been around longer than the Neptunes in the sense of activity, like Crisscross Era and all that.
That's what I was about to say.
He's been around. The Brat, that album was sick. He's the first producer to make a woman platinum. Okay, in that sense there, I think he's done more milestones. Because I feel like Neptune, what they're really good at, if I'm honest, is reinventing an artist. They've never really broken artists, really, apart from say, Khalees and the Clips. Apart from that, they ain't really broken anyone.
What about Roscoe P. Cole J? No, bro.
No, but he weren't no one, man. Come on, Eli, taking a mick. Justin Timberlake, I would say Justin Timberlake.
You did like him, didn't you?
I liked him too. He was a sick. I liked his flow. But I'm saying in terms of where he went, he didn't get nowhere. That's another problem. He's like he had the curse of Timbaland.
No, he went to jail, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know, but either way though, wherever he was,
armed something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why. What's it? That Drake, Pusha T beef, like that got brought up. That he ain't got Pusha T ain't got none of his people around him because all them went jail.
All guys went jail.
Just quickly touching on it, they get into the beef as well. And Pharrell's I like this is what I like about Pharrell, and it comes across when I interview. He reminds me of he's amongst people that might not be he might be on kind of doing things that he don't agree with, but he'll chill with him, but he'll be himself at the same time. And he kind of even says it on there, like, I'm not really, that's not me.
I'll plead the fifth. That way
I'm calling the police.
Yeah, I'll call the police. You try and get me involved in that, I don't care, I'm not looking to go to jail.
Yeah.
Now, but I can relate to that.
And he's a central person in it all, and you can tell that was awkward for him. You can tell the whole situation is awkward. Because has he made a tune with Drake? Because he was saying how much he likes Drake. I must think
never.
He must have There must be a Drake tune with Neptunes.
I don't think so.
Never.
Not that I can think of.
So then that when he's
because the whole beef started with, wasn't it? What's that Birdman tune? What happened to that boy?
Well, the beef started there.
Oh.
They didn't get paid for it. Birdman didn't.
Oh yeah, he didn't pay. Yeah, it's true. He didn't.
Didn't pay for the tune.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't pay for it. He took the beat.
He don't pay no
That's
one.
where it started.
Yeah.
As far from what I can see.
What happened to that boy?
That was one of the best hip hop beats. I remember Kieran, our friend Dales, had the ringtone of that.
Yeah.
I was so desperate on his little Sony Ericsson P900.
I know the story behind that one too. I know all the songs, the story. So basically, Pharrell said he made that song in 15 minutes on the bus. He was on tour. They asked him for a tune, and he said he was on the bus, and he just I don't know what it was. I just put my headphones on, and he zoned out, and he just made that tune. And they came back on, it weren't completed. He said, but he wanted the beat as it was, and that was it.
Wow.
15 minutes.
That's classic.
Yeah. So they didn't pay for that tune, and then I think it started off. Obviously, they went at Baby's biggest artist, who was Lil Wayne.
Yep.
And then Drake done a track back to them, not Wayne. Wayne didn't respond at all.
Right.
So then everything's gone at Drake. Bro, as far as I can.
That is, if I'm honest, that's a beef I don't really care about. I don't care about Pusha T that much. Although they're saying Pusha's this and that and he's most respected, he's a bit boring to be honest. Yeah, he's a bit boring. And Drake is...
I like him.
I like him.
I liked him when he was with the Clips. I just think he's a bit boring now.
What did I say? Feature verses. For feature verses...
He'll smash
he's got some bad features where he just jumps in and puts in a little verse.
Has he done the verses yet?
Nah.
He's not going to do that. I can't
No?
say.
He ain't got enough catalogue, I don't think, to really.
Well, he
What's
could
gonna
use his
just use
catalogue
his
with
verses for people.
Neptunes, with
Yeah, clips, I guess so, but they didn't really. I don't know, man. Half for certain people, isn't it? He ain't got like many commercial hits. A lot of times the verses is the bangers that people know, and
that's why Pharrell said he wouldn't do it, because he said he was trying to get into it before they cut him off, Nori. But he was saying, I would go into tunes that people don't really know and like deep cuts that I really like and hit me in a certain way, whereas that's all about playing your hits, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's probably boring for him to play his hits.
like they would win if they had hits. Though. They had too many hits.
He's got tunes like on Nori's. I was listening to Nori today. That made me go back and listen to Nori. And I was listening to God's favourite, Head Busser. Yeah, Head Busser. Like, he's got tunes like that are not hits, and I've never heard anyone really play, but are just bad. And even like R&B songs and stuff. Like, what's your biggest non-hit Neptunes beat thing?
What really made me personally really like the Neptunes in terms of it was their musical ability was a Khalees song called Suspended.
How'd that go?
And it starts off with like a little heart, not a little, like a glockenspiel or dum 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 dum. It's like a really little sound, and it's like a soul tune, but it's like it's not. It's like a rock soul tune. It's really weird. And at the end, there was a saxophone solo, and I always remember listening to a saxophone solo, thinking, "Oh, that's amazing! Like, who played the saxophone?" And then these times here, we always used to read the credits. Remember?
Yeah.
And I looked, and it said all instruments by Neptunes, and I was like, "What? They play the saxophone?" I found out that Chad played the saxophone, and I was like, "That's amazing!" Like, my mind was blown because I never knew hip hop producers who played saxophones and all these instruments. You know, so. Mad.
Go on, V. What's your? You've had time to think now. What's your Neptunes beats?
Super Fug was what made me look. Like, I must have heard that tune and was like, who's this?
Yeah.
And then I started seeing all their tunes. But then you got, like, for pop tunes, the tunes they made for, like, Britney Spears and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Slave
and
Slave for You and
Don't
Boys.
that bridge. I just like the bridge in Slave.
Yeah, there's some sick beats. What?
So I've asked the question, what are your favourite Neptunes beats, and you said Britney Spears.
No, I said
No, he's saying like the different. It's a super fug.
Oh,
was
okay.
the one.
All right.
But I just think because you
I
mentioned
can't say that. You know what? Even when you said that favourite, I wouldn't say they're favourites.
I wouldn't say they're favourite.
But I'll say that there's songs to me which I would say made me think, wow, like these guys have got a lot of they've got a lot of variety. Because there's a point where they had their sound was so. Remember when I had In Search of an album? Like I showed it to Eli, and it was like. Eli had it and he was like, you know what, it sounds too much the same. And I remember
No
you
one's
said
got that album, you know, that version of it.
I had that, and you had it as well.
No one
and I
really has
remember
that.
we used to play it, and I said to him, I loved it. And then Eli was like, I don't like it. And then it was like they almost knew that album was too the same, and they released another version with a
live
band.
instruments,
Yeah, and then they made everything live.
So shout out to everyone that's got the original.
Yeah,
got that
shouts
CD
out,
in
shouts
there.
out. Big up.
That's hard to
The
get.
one with the green and black, look like left for skin fur and that on there. Yeah,
This is kind of the premiere moment for me, because Curtis and me always gone back and forth between Timbaland and Neptunes, right? So I'm watching it, and they ask the question. They bring up Timbaland, and then Pharrell stops everything and he just says, "Timbaland's better than me." He says these words. He doesn't say better than Neptunes. He says Timbaland's better than me. Timbaland's the king, and you don't let him continue. He keeps saying Timbaland's better than me. Curtis,
Okay, I didn't see that bit.
your response to that?
like you said earlier on. Man's humble, innit? That's all it is. No, listen.
He said it now. Timbaland
man.
is better than me.
All right, it's like your
Do
contemporary.
you think Timbaland would say that about Pharrell?
Because Timbaland's not that character though. Timbaland's not humble. Timbaland's like, I'm the best. I'm the best.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm the best there is. That's
Yeah.
what Timbaland said.
I like how creative Timbaland was
Very.
back in the day when
Very
he used to use
creative.
all them random sounds.
Yes.
And so for that aspect,
If you listen to a Pharrell beat on his own,
yeah.
and a Timbaland on his own, because Timbaland makes most of his stuff on his own, then compare them, Timbaland will probably come out on top. But I don't see Pharrell as just Pharrell. I see him as one half of the Neptunes.
Yeah.
Now, if I see it like that and compare everything they can do, I will always say Neptunes are better than Timbaland. Because they write all their songs. Timbaland needs Missy to write songs. Or Kerry Hilson or someone.
Yeah, he's got his people.
You understand what I'm saying?
Do you know what's mad? I was just thinking is that Pharrell's been a producer on his own longer commercially than he has been with Chad. Like the Neptunes commercially had what from 97 to or 96 to 2004.
Longer than that.
When did they stop?
They stopped making tunes in 2009.
I tell you
2000.
American, that Jay-Z American, whatever it's called album.
That was Pharrell on his own.
That was Pharrell on his own.
Yeah,
and that was
but actually that sounds good though.
That was 2006, wasn't it?
Was it 2006?
Yeah.
2007. I was in New York that time.
We need a fact check.
2007.
We need a fact check.
I was in New York.
Come on, someone pull out the phone.
2007.
American Gangster.
Yeah, 2007.
Okay, but even if so, that's 13 years since then.
Yeah, but you got to look at it like this. They did get back together and make some tunes again.
2007. End of 2007.
The end.
Gotcha.
November.
Okay, you
Gotcha.
got me.
But yeah, I feel like they both add stuff to each other, and I feel as a team can't really beat them.
I'm just happy to hear Pharrell say it, and it's not even like he's admitting. He made a 4-page letter.
Yeah,
he's basically saying, I can't do that. I can't do them.
Oh, come on, look what Timbaland made. Like you said, Pony.
But another person they get onto is Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I've heard Snoop's version of how they made "Drop It Like It's Hot." That was pretty cool.
He never talked about that. What's the version?
He was talking about how it was Chad that came in and put the like they were sitting there trying to
find the beat basically.
Yeah, they made the beat, and then Chad just came in last minute and just
add
put
that little bit in.
And you're like, oh yeah, that's.
The rest of it
he Pharrell said he was contact high, and
contact high.
Yeah, and he put some random sound. What random sound was it?
The spray can.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, put a spray can in it.
Okay. And he done the drum pattern. He said he's done everything basically. Just that last part he didn't add. And then Chad, he goes, they were listening to it. He goes, "It's missing something." And apparently Chad just come in from the words.
And that's the part that everyone knows.
That's it.
Yeah.
But the beat itself was fine. Even the spray can, I remember the whole beat. I remember we first listened to that in the car, and me and Eli was listening to it. He's like, "Yeah, listen to the little spray can." And I didn't even clock it at first, and I was like, "Yeah."
That's where he gets into characters, isn't it? Talks about characters.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And I never thought about it that way. He basically is saying he likes working with the big personalities on a record because rappers are just rappers, and I think it's true. Like rappers are just rappers, and we've seen so many good rappers. I always think of Cannabis as a rapper because he was like a wicked technical rapper. Your boy Lupe Fiasco, what a technical rapper.
Yeah.
But they're not really characters, are they?
No.
And Pharrell kind of nailed it, and that's what makes him great as a producer. He can see the talent. And
mind you, he did work with Lupe though on his first album.
He did work,
and he worked with Beeman, and he was going to actually make a crew of him. Him and was it Kanye? Child Rebel Soldiers.
Don't work with Lupe now.
Nah.
Because he ain't enough.
I think, do you know what it is? I feel like with Lupe, is his character. He seems like a person who's quite hard to get along with.
But what I was going to get into is who are the big hip hop characters? The obvious ones you can't say. So we know Busta Rhymes is a big character.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't count Nori as a big character.
He's respected though, isn't he? Yeah.
I'd say he's respected.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He wasn't as big, but his personality definitely came across in his music, if you know what I mean.
Jay-Z's not a character.
DMX was.
No.
DMX is definitely a character.
Yeah. He's almost a caricature.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Kanye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Lil Wayne.
They worked together. Has he worked with Lil Wayne? What's the Neptunes Lil Wayne tune?
They had a tune that was unreleased. It was rubbish. That was when he was on his own.
But again, that might be down to the same thing, isn't it?
What, that he should have worked with Timbaland instead?
No, that.
Oh my gosh,
because Timbaland and Lil Wayne killed it.
Yeah, they did. But that was Danger Hands.
Okay, let's change something.
Yeah, okay.
Timbaland ain't been on there yet. We'll review that one when it comes.
We'll get back to Timbaland later on, man.
But what other character? Eminem?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy. He was. He's always mad. And that's what happened to the good old days when Eminem used to be fun, man.
He has become serious.
Yeah, he's just too angry and serious now. It's like, you know, Eminem, I think.
But I'll say that about Busta as well.
No, but this is the difference, like
compared to like his old albums where he was all joking around and everything, but his new album's good, but it is all serious.
All right, but let me tell you the difference though.
Is a bit more flat.
These Busta Rhymes, you can tell he's still Busta Rhymes. He still probably does the same stuff he used to do. Maybe a bit more serious, like his money's an older man, whatever. With Eminem, it's like Eminem locked himself studying hip hop as best as he could, trying to beat everything he could do, like the fastest rapper, everything. But he lost his soul when he was trying to do it. He's like a scientist. He's a Shang Tsung of rap. He can do anything you want. But he doesn't have no character of himself anymore.
Soul,
he's got no characters. Like now he's.
How about Missy? That's another character.
Miss is a big character.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's not many of them in hip hop, but
No.
from our era that we would call our era.
Is there any now?
The character is generic in a sense. It's the character is the last thing. It's about the person who's off the screen now, not the person who's on the record. It's the person who's on the Instagram or the social media.
But that's all part of the character, though.
Well-
There's just, I think back in the day, you had to get their character from their music.
Yeah.
But now you see more of them.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like their screen time was finite. You know, you had your screen time was an interview with one of two outlets, like a magazine or MTV or whatever, and your music video and your album, and you had to get everything. If you listen to our songs, like he's squeezing every part of his personality into that short time.
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas now an artist they've got outlet in lots of different ways, and they don't have to
just
do
one
that
of
on
them
the
now.
music. You know, so the music personality that's a brilliant point of view. I never thought about it that way. But towards the end of the pod, just wrapping up, Pharrell, you can just see he's just getting drunk. He can't handle the alcohol, and his face. He takes his mask off. His face is flustered and red and flushed. It's funny, but then he starts just waffling, baffling about humanity and stuff. And you know, like it reminded me of them conversations you'd have with at uni conversations in the dawns, where we'd have conversations with people after 3 o'clock, and it just goes left, and you want to get out of the room. It's one of them
just talking.
Yeah.
Philosophical.
But he did
like
get
that,
into something that was quite interesting. He was talking about Elon Musk
Yeah.
and Nori. Nori wasn't listening, by the way. But
No, Nori
you could
was
tell he
drunk
wasn't
himself by that
listening,
time.
yeah.
Okay.
But Nori asked him what he would ask, what he would collaborate on with Elon Musk, and he was like, I didn't really like his answer.
What did he say? I didn't get that
He
far.
said,
you know?
I would ask Elon Musk, because he said Elon Musk is a problem solver and he solves the problems of of what he thinks are the problems of the world. So I'd ask him to help solve the black problem, basically. Doesn't say it in his words. He definitely explains it better than I did. But basically, what he's saying is, I'd get him to think about how we could save our people. And then he knows what he said, right? And he backtracks out to one and goes, "Oh, I'm not trying to go through the whole white savior angle. That's not what I'm saying." But and that's what I would talk to him about. And I think that's the problem. Like Pharrell's in a circle of people who are. Jay-Z's on speed dial, surely, right?
Yeah.
He knows powerful people. All he talks about throughout the whole thing is all these people he knows. But yeah,
But maybe he wants to just hear another side to that.
I'm not going to say nothing like that.
Sometimes you want to hear things from different angles to get the whole picture.
But what else is there left to hear? It just
I don't know. But
he sounds like it's like I do that a lot. I say I'm going to do this when this happens. Like I put a barrier in front of me for something I'm not really that confident I can do yet, or maybe I don't even want to do it. I say, once this happens, then I can do this. Or once I get a car, then I can go and work at this place instead, or whatever. Like Pharrell has got everything in front of him. Why does he need Elon Musk to solve the problems that he thinks are problems? He's got
but
these
it's just
people.
from the question he was asked, though, isn't it? It's not like he said he'll go out and ask him that because he thinks that's what he should do. But if he could ask him one question, maybe he would ask him that question. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I said, what would you do in collaboration with him? Not
In
what
collaboration,
question you would ask. And I would argue that you could collaborate with. He must know some powerful people.
Going back to Quincy Jones, Barry Gordy, you find that same pattern.
It's mad.
And I feel like it's because, as you stated before, there's people are around very powerful people who don't look like them. And they believe that because all of their life they've relied on these people to get where they've got to.
That's the resolution.
And and that's the only way they can get an answer. And we unfortunately do suffer from the white savior complex, which is like we have to rely on this other person to help us. When it comes to the sole responsibility of doing it on our own, it's like we're scared to fail because of the expectations of everyone, and also we know we're being watched, and it's almost kind of like we're expected to fail. So it's like we can't fail, so we need everyone to help us, so we can blame it on them. We can get out if anything goes wrong. Oh, it's him. Do you know what I mean? So,
but that's a shame that it runs through like that mentality sees no class or tax bracket.
Doesn't matter where you are.
He's big and what you would consider successful knows the road and knows the way. But yet he's like, well, I'm just waiting for like these people over here to give us the answers. What are you talking about? He could make an Avengers team right now and
just do everything.
Start thinking about.
But do you know what makes me laugh even more? I was just thinking about the song he released this year called Entrepreneur, and it was about black businesses and black basically doing it on our own.
with Jay-Z.
And he done it with Jay-Z in the whole video, which I really love the video. But Pharrell, if you watch this as well, bro, you need to get back with Chad, man. I think you and Chad made that tune together. It wasn't your best, man.
Sloppy.
Come back to the old days.
Have
Come
you heard
back.
it,
The beat wasn't
Have
great.
you heard the beat? The track?
I can't think of it.
You will listen to it once.
Yeah,
you
won't like it. But one thing I did like was the video.
Yeah.
The video is so I watched that song 4 times, not for the tune, but because the video touched me so much in that sense, and I like that. But like you said earlier, your point was he's saying all this, but then he's not actually doing it. Do you know what I mean? He's saying it, then he's still going to, I need a white guy to help me out. Whereas he should be relying on his own people, in a sense. If you're pushing black excellence and stuff, you should be relying on your own people now, isn't it?
Yeah. Or even making a move
Or
himself,
making a move,
and then
yeah.
everyone come and follow. You know, do the R. Kelly
I
one,
always
man.
say the 5-5 here. Joker.
Got a bit too far there.
Okay. All right, so I think we're there, man. I love the episode. I would rate that. All right, so that's it. Where the keys at are out. Till next time, everyone stay safe. Peace, V. Peace.
Yep.
Let's go, CC. We're out.
Star Trek, baby.
Beat Club.
Where the keys out?